Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different. We're winding back the clock, firing up the time machine, and setting the dial for the 1960s. This isn't just a look back, it's an immersion. We're going to experience the automotive world of the 60s exactly as it was, through the media of the time. Forget everything you know about modern car culture. There are no Resta mods here, no SEMA builds, no 22-inch wheels. We're diving deep into an era of pure, unadulterated automotive design and passion. We're going to be flipping through the pages of scanned magazines from the decade, feeling the texture of a world printed on paper. We'll explore dealer brochures, the very same ones that sat on showroom tables, tempting a generation of drivers with promises of horsepower and style. We'll see these cars as they were advertised, as they were dreamed of, and as they were actually lived with thanks to grainy, beautiful 8mm home movies. Every image, every piece of film you're about to see is authentic to the period between 1960 and 1969. It's all Kodachrome and Ektachrome warmth, patina, and genuine history. Let's start in the early part of the decade. The 50s flamboyance was starting to fade, but the optimism was still there. Fins were getting smaller, but style was getting cleaner, more purposeful. Think of the 1960 Chevrolet Impala. The wild batwing fins of '59 were toned down, creating a sleeker, more sophisticated look. It was a sign of the times. The country was on the cusp of a new frontier, and car design reflected that forward-looking spirit. In a dealer brochure from the time, you'd see families piling into their new Kingswood station wagon ready for a cross-country adventure. The copy wasn't just selling a car, it was selling a lifestyle. The American dream on four wheels. The ads in magazines like Life or Look would show these cars parked in front of new suburban homes, a symbol of post-war prosperity. It was about more than just transportation, it was about arrival. But the early 60s weren't just about big family sedans. A revolution was brewing. Across the pond, the Jaguar E-Type debuted in 1961 and completely stunned the world. Even Enzo Ferrari supposedly called it the most beautiful car ever made. You look at the scanned magazine articles from the time, and you can feel the shockwaves. Its long, sensual bonnet and curvaceous lines were like nothing else on the road. It was pure sculpture, a testament to what was possible when engineering and art collided. Meanwhile, in America, Carroll Shelby was busy stuffing a big Ford V8 into a tiny British AC Ace, creating the legendary Cobra. Home movies from racetracks like Sebring or Riverside show these brutes thundering down the straights, their side pipes roaring. These weren't polished museum pieces. They were raw, visceral machines, often driven to the track, raced, and then driven home. The photography from that time is gritty, showing the dirt, the oil, and the sheer effort of racing. It's a world away from today's sterile corporate motorsport. Then we hit the middle of the decade and everything explodes. 1964, a date that changed the automotive landscape forever. Ford introduced the Mustang. It wasn't the fastest car or the most luxurious, but it was the most right. It was affordable, stylish, and endlessly customizable. It was a car for the youth, and it perfectly captured the spirit of a generation that was coming of age. Flipping through a 1965 Mustang brochure is like looking at a catalog of dreams. You could get a straight 6 for economy or a K-code 289 V8 for performance. You could have a hardtop, a convertible, or a fastback. You could add a rally pack, styled steel wheels, and a console. The Mustang created the pony car class, and suddenly everyone wanted in on the action. Chevrolet scrambled and responded with the Camaro in 1967. Pontiac had the Firebird. Mercury had the Cougar. The war was on. Newspaper ads from your local dealer would scream about tiger paw tires and posy traction, rears. It was a new language of performance that everyone was learning, and the muscle car era was in full swing. This wasn't just about pony cars. Magazine road tests from the time are a joy to read. The writers weren't just reciting specs, they were telling stories. They were taking these cars on road trips, drag racing them late at night, and trying to capture the thrill for their readers. You'd see a Dodge Charger with its full-width electric shaver grille and flying buttress roofline pictured against a dramatic sunset. The copy would talk about the Hemi engine, a word that became synonymous with ultimate power. Let's look at some home movie footage from a typical summer day in, say, 1968. You see a family barbecue in the backyard. In the driveway, a brand new Plymouth Roadrunner, B5 Blue. The kids are playing, but the dad is proudly polishing the chrome. This wasn't just a car, it was a member of the family, a source of immense pride. The Roadrunner was the ultimate budget muscle car. It was stripped down, no frills, just pure, unadulterated big block power. And who could forget the beep-beep horn? It was fun, it was loud, it was unapologetically American. As the decade drew to a close, the designs got even wilder. The fuselage styling from Chrysler made their full-size cars look like they were ready for takeoff. Muscle cars reached their absolute peak in '69. You had the Boss 429 Mustang, a homologation special built to legalize its massive engine for NASCAR. You had the Camaro ZL1 with its all-aluminum 427, a mythical beast that was barely street legal and astronomically expensive. Dealer flyers from late '69 would be promoting the Mod Top and Big Bad color options from AMC, trying to capture the psychedelic vibe of the era. Cars were a form of self-expression, and the color palettes reflected it. You had plum-crazy purple, panther pink, and grabber orange. These weren't subtle suggestions. They were bold statements. You look at faded photographs from a high school parking lot in 1969, and it's a sea of vibrant color and chrome. A Ford Torino Talladega, a Mercury Cyclone Spoiler 2, a Dodge Charger Daytona with its towering wing. These aero warriors, built for speed on the superspeedways, were briefly available to the public. Can you imagine seeing one of those parked on your street back then? It must have looked like a spaceship had landed. The '60s was a decade of incredible change and innovation. We went from the clean, restrained designs of the early years to the wild, psychedelic, and powerful machines of the late decade. We saw the birth of the pony car, the rise of the muscle car, and the creation of some of the most beautiful sports cars ever conceived. Experiencing it all through the media of the time, without the filter of modern restoration or commentary, gives us a pure, unfiltered glimpse into that world. It's a world of paper and film, of ink and grain, of chrome and gasoline. A world where the cars were just as optimistic and full of potential as the decade itself. Thanks for taking this trip back in time with me. It's a reminder that these cars weren't just objects. They were a vibrant part of the culture, a reflection of the dreams and aspirations of a generation. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more journeys into automotive history. Let me know in the comments what your favorite car from the '60s is. See you next time.